Welcome back to the Reality Guys. I'm your host, Billy Blinks, joined as always by my co-host, Brian.
What's going on, everybody?
Brett.
No.
He literally was so upset that it never even registered in the sound barrier. And our friend, host of the Strat Chat podcast, Kyle Petty.
Hi, hello. I am absolutely pleased as punch.
Make sure you're subscribed here. Hit the notification bell, comment. We really appreciate it. And subscribe to our TikTok as well. All right, guys, we're not going to bury the lead here. This was a crazy episode of Survivor. There were a lot of dynamics at play, a lot of scenarios being thrown out there about how to best proceed through the final 7. You know, is love worth telling secrets? What consequences do secrets have? And the ultimate consequence of this episode, guys, and what we will start with, Emily was voted off by the tribe, really in reality voted off by Mama Julie because of the intel that had got provided to her via Austin, because he is what some on the internet are calling a simp. Everybody, there's a lot to unpack here, and I know we have a lot of different takes. And look, Brett, Emily was your girl. You have been the number one reality TV podcaster for Emily. So give us your honest opinion on how all this played out.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly just thought Emily was going to win. I didn't really care about her that much. But at the beginning of the episode, it seemed like it was bad news for her because Julie was on to her trying to say, oh, she's a threat. She's a threat now. Bad move on Emily. She's like, oh, look at me. I just did that move last week. Ha! And so that bit her in the butt. But going into the very ending, I still had faith. I had hope that Emily was going to survive. I really thought Austin giving up his idol and being too much of a biatch to ask for or take it back was going to make him leave. And I did like a reaction shot on my TikTok because I really thought Austin was about to get blindsided. And he did not. And I like Austin, but I don't like his move and how it messed up Emily's game.
Kyle.
Okay. I don't want to revel too much in Emily's failure because it's really not about that. Like, there's so much conversation around Austin and whether or not this is a good move for him. Calling him a simp, calling him a pussy, calling him all these like different things. And I don't really think that any of those things apply. Like, I do genuinely think this was a good move for his game when you're talking about building relationships in this game. It's a little too early to be burning bridges with D. If you feel like you have that trust with her, you don't want to mess that up at this stage because you don't know when you might need that later, and if you try too hard to take your idol back, it's going to set off like a whole bunch of like alarm bells. Like, that's not necessarily what you want to do either. So like, what else was Austin supposed to do if like, what is he supposed to do to maintain the trust in the game if you're trying to like change the course of this? Like, what other option did he have?
No, that's fair.
Yeah, like if you want to call him a simp, all right. So then what should he have done then?
I'm just more mad at the tribe that they just put all their votes on her. That's what annoys me. It's like
that's whack.
That's
whack.
what's
No
dumb
one's playing
to me.
Yes, and to your point, that's what Jake said. Like, I don't know if it was last week, it could have been 2 weeks ago, and it's like no one's playing Survivor. It's like, stop piling on one person. Like, whoever is at the bottom of this alliance that's piling on these people, you do understand that once you piled on this person, that person goes, whoever's at the bottom, you're next up.
Yeah.
So what are you doing to reverse that? And like, that's already been said, and they're still not doing it. So it's like,
yeah. And the other thing is, like, I know Emily was like their secondary target, but I mean, it's just, I don't know. You knew the way it was going because everyone just is so shocked and like, I don't know. If they wanted her gone, why do they care as much as they did?
I didn't even see their shock because the second I realized it was her, like, I mean, I got up and I ran laps around the house because
They knew she was going. I mean, they all basically were like, "Hey, we're just going to blindside Julie," oh wait, okay, Julie now knows we're blindsiding her, so that means Emily's the fallback, and like it's one of those two is probably going to be Emily at this point. And then Austin was like, it might be me because D, I really wanted it to be him because I wanted his love for D and D's love for Julie and vice versa to stab him all in the back. But
Yeah, I mean, that's what a lot of people are talking about was Austin's decision, like Brian said, and like Kyle really said, if you put it this way, what can he really do? This has been an alliance they've built up. Yes, but also now like that four is done. Like Mama don't trust any of them anymore, right? That it's dead already. So who's was it? It was going to be dead on your terms or dead on her terms, right? And it ended up dead on her terms. Like she got the strike and lose Emily, and Emily again, I think would have stayed loyal to Austin and Drew. I think she thought they were a core three at the end, that maybe they would even defect from the four and join her. And that was something I think was it could have played out depending on how the next few weeks went. Look, overall, I've teased the Emily stuff. I think it was warranted criticism early on, some of the stuff that she was saying, and just rubbed me and certainly a lot of people the wrong way. I do think she played a really good game. At the end of the day, like Brett said, she was everybody's kind of fallback plan and safety plan. She was the classic, well, it's not me, right? It's not us. So fine, it's Emily. At least it's none of us. We'll get back to this next week, right? And so that's what building up alliances and Survivor is supposed to be for, right? And having floater people. And somehow, man, Jake's still there, still floating there. Buddy has been targeted a lot, and our man is still sitting there floating. I mean, big props to him, honestly.
we're gonna go through the whole thing probably, right? But for me, this is probably my favorite episode. This whole thing broke it open. Even if Emily didn't go and Austin did go, like you said, like Reba is now like their thing is shattered. Jake is emerging, Katurah is emerging. Like all these things are happening that I really don't know what's about to happen in this game and who's about to win.
I think. Can I say something about Katurah real quick?
Yeah.
How are we just finding out about her terrible, like early life now?
Her life.
All we heard about was her talking about Bruce. Like that changes the way I think about her completely. Like
Getting the Erica, she's like,
yeah. That
Kyle
Kyle said the same thing before you joined on the last recording that we did. Like didn't you? Didn't that what we said?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that changes the way I look at her now. Like, not that I really like didn't like her. I just like, what has she done? All she's cared about is Bruce. And like this, she was working jobs when she was 5 years old or in 12 years old. It's nuts.
I almost think that's her edit though. Like she's giving me that Erica edit. I don't remember what season she won, 40 something.
41.
We saw nothing of this woman up until she broke that hourglass that everyone knew she was going to break anyway. And then we still didn't see much of her. Then all of a sudden she won. So like that almost seems to be the new era way of editing this thing, which is also why like I kind of always knew Emily wasn't going to make it. I just didn't want to be proved wrong, and you're scared to double down. But it's like anyone who looks that strong in the beginning usually burns out before we get to the end.
I agree with Brian wholeheartedly about the Katurah stuff. Like, even though like they made her whole edit about Bruce being patronizing and stuff, it would have taken 2 seconds for them to do her backstory to say, like, I find it really patronizing because I've been someone who's been working since I was like a kid, and I don't need some like old man telling me what to do. It's just a bunch of like my shitty bosses I've had my whole life. Like all of a sudden she becomes like the people's like everyone like gets her right. Instead she's her things like I hate Bruce and I'm gonna lie about being a lawyer because I don't want people to know I'm smart. Like we've hated on Katurah because we've been like, what's her storyline gonna be now? And now we have a storyline. Like she's scrappy. Like we love her, and like you said, I just wish I could have spent more time enjoying her. Hopefully that means we get at least we only have 2 more weeks of Survivor, so just wish we would got that a little early.
Yeah, I mean, she almost got married off. That's like a lot of things make sense now. The way that she, like you said, Bill hated Bruce so much. Like, why do they? Why I don't understand why they chose not to show that to us.
Of everyone's pigeonholed backstories that they like to put in Survivor nowadays, like hers just like blew. I was like, damn, I did not expect her to say those things she just said, and that's crazy. Like the first episode, she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna pretend to be a lawyer or whatever," and then she was all about Bruce for 5 or 6 episodes. Now, out of nowhere, she's like emerging as like, holy crap, they were holding this back the whole season, and now she seems to have some like agency in the game. So I don't know.
And those are the backstories I want to hear about. I don't want to hear about somebody's like, man, I worked really hard, like the generic BS. Like this is that's like a one-off.
It would
like,
change my
craziness.
family's life.
Yeah. Like give me a break with that crap. But like hers is like, I'm like, whoa, that's like actually crazy.
Life-changing money.
Well,
Yeah,
isn't
like-
it also possible that maybe Katurah didn't want to share it until now? Like maybe, like obviously production certainly
I don't
knew
believe
it.
you.
I'm sure she used that, but like maybe she didn't choose to share it until like
I don't
now.
think so.
I'm sorry. Brian just hit you with like a Ron Burgundy. I don't believe you.
I don't think so. I think they did.
No,
Listen, I'm not saying I'm just tossing it out there
Yeah,
for
I don't
this
think
as a
so.
discussion point. It's
Well,
not, it's not
yeah,
because it's
yeah,
not
Greg,
it's
you
not
go,
a hard
Greg, go.
foundation.
They're treating
I
this
agree
this
with-
they're
I agree
treating
with
this
Kyle.
they're treating the season like it's like a season of Lost where we get like one backstory every episode. It's like the
Right.
season finale. We're finally getting the character's backstory. Like, frankly, I'd rather them front load the season with backstory. Or honestly, didn't they used to do like I know they do basically like Instagram now, but didn't they used to have like a meet the Islanders type thing, like a season preview, or like if they don't, they really should knock a lot of this out for us, like before the season even starts. Like, let us know who the hell these people are. It would help. I think it really helps as a viewer.
Bro,
They had things that they would intro themselves for a minute or two before the season, but like Kyle was saying, I mean, clearly Katurah didn't say any of this to any of the people on the beach with her playing the game until I guess this point. But I do think production probably knew ahead of time, and I guess
Yeah, they did.
whether they did or didn't want to, they couldn't show it really till now because that's when she started opening up, and also gameplay wise, she lasted a while, so.
I just think it would have changed the way we all looked at her, and like honestly, I think she would have a lot more like people rooting for her.
What I want to know is why she doesn't like her mom, because at first I thought her mom's, oh shit, she brought her into this cult, and then and the mom's husband wanted her, but then it sounded like the mom like got her out of there when that happened. So I'm like, the mom kind of saved the day a little bit, and I don't know why she still doesn't like her. I don't know, but
Maybe just getting involved with the cult itself. So I don't know what happened to Kyle, but we're gonna keep going.
Kyle's back.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, Brett. Like if somebody put you in that situation, I think that the like even though she got taken out of the you're gonna marry the cult leader. I mean, it's too far gone here at this point. Like you got to be like, what are you doing in my life?
yeah, that's the backstory I want more from. I want to hear more.
Right. That's actually interesting. That's actually interesting. Not this typical. I am a super fan. I'm so happy to be here. BS and like, nah. More Katurah story, please.
I mean, all that is fair, but it's also fair to assume that, you know what, maybe these are the stories that got me cast in this whole thing, but I don't necessarily want my entire story to be the reason why you're rooting for me. I want you to root for me because you like me.
That's fair. That's fair. But I would just, we would understand her, like, the last 7 episodes a lot more.
Exactly. Yeah, we definitely spent these entire couple of weeks saying, like, what are you doing? Why is Bruce like the main target? Why does he bother you this much?
Yeah.
He's definitely an irritant, but like to center your whole game around this man, like, what is that? And like,
I mean, I don't just like any of the
not
people
ready to share that about your life, you know.
I think everyone has a chance to win, and I think her and Jake both said similar things where they were playing the Christmas tree in the school play, and now it's time to get up to a supporting role and then maybe become the main character and then win the game. So I think they both have kind of similar strategies a little bit.
I like them. They're like probably my 2 favorites now that like, I think could win.
Who, Katurah and Jake?
Yeah, I mean, I think Drew's got to go. Like, Drew just doesn't do it for me.
I'm tired
at this point. Drew's my favorite actual game player in the game. I think he's
anyone says they're tired of, it's like, oh, I like this person. Like, yeah, okay, that's my.
I like Jake the most. I like Jake the most.
Oh, good. Okay, we take that.
Katurah's thing tonight. I'm like, all right. I always thought she was funny, but like, I don't know. I give her a little more credit now. But I think he was the strongest like strategic game player. So if he was at the end, based off what I know, I would still vote for him.
He looked pretty clueless tonight. I'll say that. When the idol got played, I
discredit Austin completely at this point. Austin lost his idol to Julie. He fessed up to his showman's D. Like he almost got voted out and probably should have instead of Emily. Austin dead to me. I'd vote for Drew over Austin.
Man, I thought Julie was just gonna get him, and I thought it was gonna be like, D, you screwed Austin because you took his secret and blew it for him. That would have been an all-time moment. I would have been so cringe and felt so bad. It would have been such a different conversation we would have been having tonight.
Yeah, and I think a big error on Dee's part to share with Julie. Why would you say to anyone else that this person is my number one? Like, why would you say that? You could at least just say, listen, this person, I'm very close with them. I trust them. You don't have to go so far as say they're number one. Of course, Julie is now going to sit back and say, ugh.
I like him.
Am I good? Am I good? Like,
hey,
I don't know.
Number two. You don't say,
oh my
you say, you're my number one. He's my number two.
Right. And it's like Dee's biggest error, I think, so far. Because I think Dee, up until that point, had really played a flawless game. Like, we saw her be like a very strong competitor every single week. If she, I mean, I think she only won once, right?
I fully agree. I thought Dee has been like the power player for a while, but it now is totally in the last few weeks kind of shifted, I feel like. And like I said, it's really this Reba Civil War. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out over the next few weeks. Again, I agree with Brett. I think this was a great episode. I mean, real quick, I do want to just touch on the actual challenge. What did you guys think of the actual challenge?
I was rope tied again. They've done this in many different versions, but I guess the rainbow puzzle was a little different than like the shape like a rainbow, right? Arch.
Yeah, the arch thing, I was like, don't they realize there's a puzzle on the backside where the camera's looking at them? And
Jeff kept saying it. He kept saying it like so many times. And I think people are just like just not thinking. That was, man, those 12 days they've been there, man. It's really beating down on them.
PG.
The 12 days.
I got always
Campground Beach.
Drew was doing it wrong too, like Austin, up until like the last time he did it and then got it right. So he might have been like putting it on the floor and making sure it looked good.
I agree. I think the challenge was kind of repetitive.
I got overshadowed by everything, man. I think like
that's what really always happening. It's like, if I just wish that it was almost like some of these episodes, it was the center point, but it really isn't, right? They got the barbecue, which was nice, but overall, it really was. Emily was a major player in every episode, really, up until even including this one. There was not an episode where there was not like a pretty significant portion of like what's Emily thinking, what's her position in the game as of now. So see her, I mean, I know it's pretty late in the game, but to see her go before we even get to like the fire or anything like that was really surprising to me.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good episode to take her out on too, because she had a chance to win immunity and she didn't risk it with that adventure island thing they did.
Yeah, well, I would have gone for it. I would have lied about having a vote. I would just been like, it was that I went for it and I got it. Whatever. Tell someone you have it. You don't got to show them the idol.
Was that like you're not? Is that what they said? Like you have one less knot?
That was the one. No, that was the one where she went on the island and they said that she could do the puzzle, she could get immunity, but if she doesn't, she loses a vote. And okay. So, like, if she had done the puzzle, then it would have been moot. She couldn't have been the ricochet.
All right, you didn't want to losing the vote. That didn't matter anyways, because it was a unanimous vote against Julie, who played Austin's on and got her out anyways.
Ball don't lie.
Can't believe he never asked for it back. Like, we assumed, we talked about it multiple times in episodes. We're like, oh, he definitely got it back.
I think he just was like he thought that like she would just give it back to him, and then she was just kind of like, oh yeah, we got idols. We're idol buddies. And
no, idol buddies never exist, apparently.
It's a very tricky position to be in, though. And you got to give Austin some credit here, because like, what would you really do in this situation? Like, this person has her idol. If you fight too hard to take it back, that sets off flares, right? That this person could be in danger, but it also means that like this is also a person who knows that you have a second one. Do you really want that person like sharing that information to everybody else? Like right now, it's still staying within the Reba 4. So even though you behave this way and kind of like put her in the line of fire, it was also your idol that kept her safe. So you kind of have that to back you up when you would try to defend yourself, because we're going to open next week with this conversation with the night vision cameras talking about everything that went down.
But he also voted for her too. So like, I don't know how
he did, but I voted for you knowing that you had my idol and I knew you were going to play it. So like, I still had, you have to respect the fact that I still had to play the game and make it appear to everyone else. So like, there's an opportunity there to build that trust back. But if you even ask once whether or not you got it back or not, like you're definitely done now. It's over.
I think if this is involved, you got to do it. You think Boston Rob would ask for that idol back? You think Russell Hantz would ask for that idol back? You damn right they would have. She should have done it right after that last tribal. Is when he should have done it.
Out. I wish Julie voted him out, but I think Austin's thing too is he gave her the idol that was better than the idol he kept. Why? Because she was supposed to use it that one tribal council.
So yeah, I'm also not sure why he gave her the best one. Like even if she was supposed to use it that one time, when he purposed it for her, he still should have given her the less powerful one. Like
maybe Kelly was in the game at that point. I don't remember.
Yeah, I was gonna say too. Like maybe it wasn't a full idol when that got passed off. Question mark? We'd have to go back to the notes.
I think overall, like I said, higher quality episode. I think the season's been good overall. Way enjoyed over the past 4 seasons before. So keeping up the good momentum. Kyle, Strat Chat Pod, where can people find you? What are you guys doing here in this fine month of December?
Thursdays, Challenge 39 live, 9:30 p.m. The Strat Chat Pod socials. Right after that, at 10:30, we're wrapping up Big Brother Australia. We had our finale on today. We actually did our last exit interview, even though like we were not granted the ability to speak to the runners up. So we're going to be reaching out to them individually. So like we'll see what happens with
that.
Look,
we did a bunch of them. Like we're good people.
Right. We are good people. Like come talk to us. And then of course, Big Brother Reindeer Games, that kicks off on December 11th. We'll be live right after that, discussing the goings on. Reindeer. And that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Check out their TikTok as well. They do awesome clips of their stuff, news, funny things. Make sure, like I said, you're subscribed to our TikTok, the playlist here on YouTube, and check out our social medias, Instagram, Twitter. We're on Facebook as well. But for myself, Brian, Brett, Kyle, everyone at the Reality Guys, thank you so much for watching. Peace.